Okay, this is Liam from Melbourne, reading from PenTales, Hanoi, Once Upon a Time.
It's not very once upon a time, I didn't know there was a thing, but anyway, here goes. This is called Where Is She? A dull thud of bass rumbled through the dusty red soil. He lay inside the khaki tent, staring up at the amber glow. Occasional silhouettes of laughing ghosts passed outside. It felt like hours. He played over the scenes, the signs that he had already deciphered, trying to second-guess their meaning. Was there an alternative? Could there be another way? If everything is okay, like she said, where is she? His mind tried to think through the mushroom-fed confusion. Thoughts linked into others, related by a colour, an item of clothing, a word, a song, one after the other, until the pang of anxiety struck again, and he could remember something was not as it should be. Each stream of consciousness would end with the same question. Where is she? She was at the main stage. She looked so beautiful with her short black hair, and the bruises on her legs, the thin film of dust that covered her tan skin, and her short cutlass skirt, and the necklace he bought for her birthday that lay on the bedside table next to Walden, that he had started reading so many times but always put down. To live in the woods for years, away from it all, to work only for the necessities, just food and water and security, and watch the leaves fall from the trees as the seasons pass, and spend whole days watching the sun make its way over that huge blue dome, with nothing but the song calls of the birds and the wind and the rustle of leaves and love, yes, her love, and the children that were coming with her eyes, fed from her breast and her loving smile. But there was something. Where is she? The rustling of clothes and unsteady footsteps that approached the tent caught his ear. No anxious laughter, no druggy, giggling conversation, just the sound of a solitary figure. He listened with senses focused. Would it stop, or would it pass through the dark vacuum of confused sounds? The zipper tore up with a screeching vroom. It shocked him out of his distorted and isolated reality. The world outside entered. He sat up staring silently into its round, black, guilt-ridden eyes. They said everything in the few brief moments they could bear before turning away in shame. He found himself sitting, clasping the steering wheel, and felt his eyes spring with the warm salt of pain that grew with intensity. The dust had formed a thick veil across the windshield, and he sat inside the metal cocoon, split in thought between the impulse to take flight and the fear of facing a world of rejection. How can so much change in such a short time? The shock and reality of the last few moments bared its weight on his fragile and incoherent mind. That's it, he thought. Everything is gone. Everything changed with no recourse, no tender moment, no reflection on the memories, and no thought of what has come before it, and no future. So irretrievable and so intensely sad and finished. The death of such dearly held dreams, in an instant. He felt it, all the dreams and all the pain seeping from his round bloodshot eyes, oozing out of him and washing away the dust on his cheeks, falling like an autumn shower between his worn, dusty feet. He looked up, turned the key in the ignition, and felt the engine work beneath him. The windshield wipers began to eat away at the now thick and muddy clay. He glared out at the dirt track that would lead him through the festival's joyous dancing disciples and out onto the dark, uncertain road. He moved swiftly along the smooth pavement as flickers of conversation and flashing images drove wildly through his head. I didn't know I felt this way, she said. What does that mean? About him? Someone else? Why wouldn't she let me touch her, he thought? Why wouldn't she let him hold her, let her know he cared? How could he repulse her so much? Why didn't she want his touch? Why didn't she want him? He remembered reaching out his hand to draw her towards him, but she pushed his hand back and turned away. She wouldn't even look at me. She couldn't bear it. His thoughts continued running in circles. He tried to make sense of it. He searched in confusion for the relationship between the person who had smiled, laughed, and held him so lovingly to the disgusted and indifferent person he had left in the tent only moments ago. On and on and on, he scoured through the ashes of sweet and bitter memory, searching, hoping to find some clue. Hours passed. He wanted a cigarette badly. He thought of stopping at the roadside service station, but the attendant's deciphering eyes would quickly recognise the moon-shaped dilation of his pupils and the thick water-cut lines between the red soot that covered his cheeks. And he was shoeless. He felt the mixture of hallucinogens, alcohol and adrenaline driving through his veins as he pushed his bare earthen foot down hard on the accelerator. He coursed forward into the darkness, broken only by the glow of streetlights and the silhouette of trees that passed outside the sedan. Where was he going? Home? She wasn't home anymore. Where is home? The cold night air shot through the sedan window and passed freely over his tan skin. It flicked through his loose clothing and fed his anticipation. If she isn't home anymore, he thought, feeling the birth of a vague sense of excitement. Where is she?
Thank you, Liam.